Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of It's About Everything. First of all, I would like to apologize for not uploading frequently. I was busy with some other work. Actually, I have adopted two abandoned kittens and they need full-time care as they are just few days old, and that's why I was unable to upload. Anyway, let's continue with the video. So about 8 months ago, I made a video about making this tripod using PVC pipes, and the only thing left on that video is making the camera mount, where I can mount a phone camera or anything that has a similar screw thread like we see under a camera. These are few of those pipes that were left after I was finished with that project. I used a small piece of it to make this mini tripod, and you can watch it by clicking on the cards that appeared on the top right corner. I will start by taking a small piece of 3/4 inch diameter pipe, about 4.5 inch in length. I will put a circular mark at 1.5 inch from any side like so. I will cut another small piece of the same pipe about 1 1/4 of an inch or 3.2 centimeters and keep it aside. I will put 4 cuts till the 1.5 inch mark, as you can see here. Snap the cut sides like so to create a notch. As usual, I will use my SMD soldering hot air blower to shape the pipe. The heat is kept to the minimum setting, which is enough to make the plastic soft to shape it in any way I want. Here I am trying to make a T-joint by wrapping the two sides of the larger pipe over the smaller one when it is soft and let it cool down to form the shape. You might need to reheat it few more times to get a satisfactory result, which I did as well off camera, and this is how it looks. The reason I'm not using a normal T-joint available for plumbing purposes is that the inner surface is tapered and not straight, which you will see in a while in this video why I need it. Here you can see I'm using a 1/2 inch diameter PVC pipe that slides inside the 3/4 inch pipe. This is why I can't use the normal plumbing T-joint, because it's going to be a part of the tilting mechanism. Here you can see I'm using two more small pieces of the 3/4 inch diameter PVC pipe for both the sides, which will prevent the 1/2 inch pipe from coming out. In this way it will act like a bush and rotate freely but will not come out. This makes our tilting mechanism. After that, I'm going to make the landscape or portrait shifting mechanism. I'm using a 4 inch length 3/4 inch diameter pipe here. I'm going to repeat the process that I did earlier, which is making a notch, but this time on both the sides and 90 degrees shifted from each other. As you can see here, one side is completed and this is how it will fit. Here both the sides are completed and this is how it looks. The landscape to portrait shifting mechanism looks the same as the tilting mechanism, but it tilts the camera in sideways, and it must be strong enough to hold the camera or the phone. My choice of glue here is super glue or cyanoacrylate glue, which is strong enough for this entire build, but still I used epoxy putty or M-seal later to further strengthening the structure. I was little skeptical about the use of super glue as the only glue here, because I don't want to drop my phone or camera. Anyway, the surface to be super glued needs to be clean and well sanded, which will provide a strong bond. I need to keep that in mind. Obviously, any glue surfaces should be clean and sanded. Gluing the tilting mechanism is a bit tricky. You need to align it properly and make sure the glue doesn't get inside the center part, or else everything will glue together and there will be no free play or rotation. Here you can see I glued one side first, and then after inserting the pipe I will glue the other side, but before that I need to drill a hole on the side. The hole is for inserting a flat bottom screw that will help adjusting and locking the tilt angle. which is necessary if I am shooting something up or down. The hole is little smaller than the screw itself and it will make a thread while going inside, so no need to worry about it. After that, insert the half-inch pipe and glue the other side as well. Before the glue sets, make sure the pipe rotates, which is absolutely necessary. Here you can see after a few minutes the glue is set and it rotates freely, plus the screw can effectively lock it in its place, so I can say it's done up to here. Next, I'm going to repeat the same process with the side tilting mechanism. Here you can see I have glued the 3/4 inch pipe in the same way as before and then glue this part to the main assembly. So here you can see it's glued and it rotates freely. Now I'm going to make the top section, which will hold the camera or phone, and the side tilting mechanism. Like before, it will also need a screw to lock it in its place, so I will drill here for the screw. Later I found out that when the camera is moved to portrait position, the lock screw hits the camera and prevents it from tilting on its side, so I had to change the position of the screw. Here you can see the fly nut screw that I was using broke off, so I had to use a flathead screw. To make the camera mount, I'm using a 1/2 inch diameter pipe, 2.5 inch length, and made 2 slots on both the ends like so. The slots are 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch. I have also cut a notch on the 3/4 inch diameter pipe that I glued earlier on the base. The notch is cut at 90 degrees. The longer slot, which is 3/4 inch, will be towards the side of the notch and it will limit the movement of the camera mounting plate. In the next step, I'm going to make the camera mounting plate, and to do that I'm going to flatten this PVC pipe and make a sheet. I'm going to split the pipe from the middle using a hacksaw, and then I'm going to heat the pipe using an iron and gradually spread it. Finally, I will sandwich the sheet between 2 pieces of paper and iron it from the top, and then press it down using a flat heavy object until it cools down and becomes perfectly flat. You can click on the video link appeared on the top right corner to know details about how I flatten PVC pipes. Okay, so here I realized that the camera mounting plate will hit the screw that I have put here, so I have decided to put it on the other side, which is much more convenient. I made a paper jig to measure the size of the mounting plate, which gives me a rough idea about the shape that I will cut into the flat plate. I traced the outline of the paper into the PVC sheet and then cut it out accordingly. Here you can see how the shape fits, although the measurement isn't perfect, but it will do for now. Next, I will bend the edges of the PVC sheet after heating it over a tea light candle. The bend should be 90 degrees for it to be perfectly level. Here you can see how the landscape to portrait swiveling mechanism will work. This is where I seriously doubt about the strength of super glue here, so I decided to use epoxy putty instead, which has same strength as epoxy glue but in the form of a putty. The only downside is that it cures in between 5 to 8 hours depending on the temperature, and during that time the object glued needs to be clamped. So to keep it in its position, I'm using hot glue. The hot glue will hold it until the epoxy putty cures. Before permanently gluing it with epoxy, I took some measurements, although the measurements were a little offset, but it won't create any problem. Here you can see how I have applied the epoxy putty. I will fill both the ends of this pipe because it needs the additional strength to hold the camera, and the holes look awkward as well. Here you can see why I had to change the position of the locking screw, otherwise it would have created a problem. After all the epoxy putty is cured, it looks like this. Now the only thing left is making the hand grip with which I can pan and tilt the camera. I'm going to use 1/2 inch diameter pipe about 6 inch length and put it right over here at an angle, which will be easier to hold while shooting. I borrowed this gas jet from my brother and I will use it instead of tea light candle or SMT soldering blower as I need more heat this time. You can do it over a gas stove also. One thing that I didn't show you here is that I have put a small cut about 3/4 inch length on the pipe before heating it, as it will help spreading it into its shape. I'm using the other piece of the pipe here as a mold to shape it by pressing it against it. You can see here how the shape came out. Now I will clean the edges. It's going to be fitted at an angle and I will use epoxy putty here also to glue both the pieces. For holding it initially during the curing period, I have used a screw which I took out once the M seal is fully cured. This project is almost completed now, and you can see how the pan and tilt will work eventually after I put the mounting screw for the camera. I need to drill a hole right in the middle for the screw so that it remains in line with the base. The screw is secured with a nut and now the project is completed. I'm going to use this locking nut from this mini tripod, but you can use any other nut here to do the same, which works as well. I tried here my old point and shoot camera and it fits perfectly and remains intact even after shaking the mount. The 3/4 inch pipe goes inside the 1 inch pipe and will become the mount on the tripod. You can see here how the panning and tilting works and can be locked into its position with the screw. Here you can see how the landscape to portrait shifting mechanism looks like with a camera. You can lock it at any angle. Here is how it looks when you mount it on a tripod. Now I can say the tripod is completed finally with the camera mount and everything. If you haven't seen the video of how I have built the tripod, I will leave a link on the top right corner, you can watch it. Although the adjustments needs both of my hands, but now I'm one-handed as I have to hold my phone, so bear with me. The panning and tilting is very smooth in landscape as well as portrait mode. If needed, I can increase the length of the handle, which will increase smoother pan and tilt. How much weight it can take? Well, see for yourselves. This 12-volt battery is 2.1 kilograms and it can handle it. You can see the PVC sheet flexing, which is obvious as it's positioned in the horizontal direction. I can put a support underneath to prevent it from flexing, but none of my cameras are as heavy as a lead acid battery. I can also use it with the mini tripod that I have built in my previous video. Link will be in the I button in the top right corner. Maneuvering the camera is very easy here also. I can point it in any direction at any angle, in portrait or landscape mode, you name it. So guys, this is how you can make a camera mount for your phone or camera just by using PVC pipes, super glue and epoxy putty. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. I'll see you soon.